Hey, listeners, get your tickets for the Columbus Cocktail Classic, which is going to be on Sunday, September 8th from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Joseph Hotel in the Short North Arts District of Columbus, Ohio. It's the first ever cocktail convention in the state of Ohio, so we're pretty excited about that. We want to make it an annual affair, so please get your tickets. There are different ticket levels, and the grand finale, if you will, of the convention is a really fun competition. It's a team competition. We're calling it the Culinary Cocktail Throwdown, where we pair a bartender and a chef. The cocktail is always the star of the show in our world. So the bartender will make a cocktail. The chef will make an amuse-bouche to pair with it. And if you're in the studio audience, you will be able to taste everything and vote on that.
So the website for the classic is the ColumbusCocktailClassic.com.
Also, get your tickets for the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour. We do one just about every weekend. And where can you get tickets for the Columbus Craft Cocktail Tour?
ColumbusCraftCocktailTour.com. That one's easy.
It's so hard. And yeah.
Spell it all out.
Also, keep your eyes open for our very special Halloween cocktail tour because that always sells out within hours. So that will be going.
We'll be listing that in very, very soon from when this drops.
Very soon. And look out for our, we do some word jumbles. If you answer the questions correctly, you can win a free ticket to the cocktail tour. So keep an eye out for those.
Welcome to If This Bar Could Talk, a podcast about bartenders and the stories they have to tell, as well as the storied history of cocktails, spirits, and bars. I'm Blair Beavers, and here's your host, Leanne Sims.
Okay, so our guest tonight, he's not really a bartender, but he did play one in an amateur cocktail competition recently. He is the Superintendent of Liquor Control for the state of Ohio. Welcome to the podcast, Jim Canepa.
Thank you for inviting me, I think.
So I have to say, not that you give a shit what I think, but you are
I care. I hang on every word.
You're doing amazing things for liquor control. Not just you're like changing the whole perception, or rather you're informing people, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions about what a control state is. But if I had your job, which I kind of wish I did,
No, you don't. Because half the people love it and half the people hate you. So,
well, I would do it exactly how you're doing it. Like you're doing barrel picks like it's your job because you made it your job, and that's so cool. Who wouldn't want that job?
I know I would.
I mean, yeah,
that's the cool part. I mean, that part of it's cool. Except, like, even there, for example, I'm bringing in barrels of whiskey that otherwise the state wouldn't have. So this is like, think about it this way: all the stuff on the shelves that you buy, bourbon-wise, the Makers, the Old Forester, we're going to get that regardless. Barrels are over and above that because they're single barrels. The state had never gotten those before. So we're getting extra bonus bottles. And still, people are like you, yay for that. Mm-hmm. And then other people are like, well, why aren't you getting Willet? Or, well, why, who's picking those out? You don't really go down there, do you? And I'm like, yeah, man, I do. It's like,
you know what? You can't make everybody happy. So just,
it's like extra cool, delicious bourbon. So like chillax and drink it.
It is extra cool that you're doing that. It really is. And I feel like you are forging relationships that haven't existed before, in particular with the bartending community, which is super important to liquor sales, obviously, and how you do your inventory, right? Because if things don't move, you aren't gonna
That's right.
have them sitting on the shelves, and if bartenders aren't selling it,
Well, the bartenders have their finger on the pulse in terms of trends, people's taste buds. They're always experimenting, trying to be, distinguish themselves from each other and try to make that place a destination based on what they're making. And so, they don't want to do same old, same old. They want to be on cutting edge. And so they're setting the trends. And for me, in running a $1.3 billion business, I want to be on the crest of the trends. If I don't want to be behind the trend, I don't want to be way in front of the trend. I want to be on the crest of the trend.
Sure.
Because it sells bottles. And so, for example, the gin trend now is starting to kick in because that is starting with the bartenders. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it makes sense because gin has a long history. There's a craft process. There's a way to make it, or a good way to make it, a bad way to make it. And there's all kinds of creative ways to make it. And it has a history. And so the bartenders, are taking that page out of the American bourbon playbook and capitalizing on gin. And there's all kinds of cool things going on with that. And so we're starting to see that kick in. So I want to make sure, the bartenders get what they need to distinguish themselves from the other spots and from the other bartenders and to make their place a destination. And in the process, it's not totally altruistic, even though I do like to go to cool places where there are bartenders that make cool stuff, because that tends to be where the action is. But I'm really doing it because I want to know what to sell, what to buy, what to sell.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like when so Chris DeLavi was your mentor when you did the amateur cocktail competition? How eye-opening was that for you? Did you learn anything from that experience, or what was that like for you?
It was an amazing experience. It was eye-opening in a number of regards. The obvious eye-opening thing is like the work that they put in to look like it's not work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They are just all about customer service, all about the show, all about the chit chat, all about making it special for the customer. And so that's the obvious thing. Is like first thing comes to your mind is like, am I going to remember how to make a drink? How am I going? Where's this bottle? Where's that glass? Am I going to get it? Am I going to shake it, stir it?
Right.
Strain it? What am I supposed to do? What kind of fruit do I put on it? And does it need to be a twist? Or, all those things are the obvious eye openers is how much work it is.
Yeah.
But the more nuanced and I think important piece of it is that the bartenders are plugged into this liquor world, but really don't understand how the business side of the liquor works. Like they understand their bar,
right.
They understand their bar business, but they don't understand a control state, right. How that works, how their voices need to be heard, mm-hmm. How they can connect to make those things happen for their bar. In talking to Chris and talking to other bartenders, they sort of think they're stuck mm-hmm. with the selection that their wholesale agency is offering them. Mm-hmm. And that is a myth that I want to kick in the ass because it's just not true.
Okay.
If there are things that they want to make their night special, their menu special, all they need to do is ask. And if their wholesale agency is not accommodating them, switch to another liquor agency who will provide customer service. Because the business side of it is this: the agency orders from the state of Ohio. Now, what do they want to order? They want to order bottles that are going to move off their shelf. Mm-hmm. They don't want to order that special thing because they have to order case quantities. So if Joe's bar wants that one bottle for that one cocktail he's going to make that's seasonal, the rest of the case sits in the back of the agency, taking up space.
Okay, I see.
Now, even though the agency hasn't spent a nickel on it,
mm-hmm.
it's taking up space. They make a commission on the bottles that move.
Okay.
So they want bottles that move because that's how they get paid.
Gotcha.
Commission based.
Right.
So when Joe's bar says, I want some, strange thing they're going to say the state, and I'm putting these in air quotes, the state doesn't have that. The state won't let me get that. The state, it's not the state. It's the state agency who doesn't want to ask us for a product that they feel like is not going to move.
You're their scapegoat then.
So we're the scapegoat.
Okay.
So, I was up in Berea, Ohio, and I was at a club up there called Bar 107, and my cousin plays up there in the bar all the time, and we were there till closing, and the bartender, as I'm writing my bill, sees my name, looks at her permit on the wall and says, "I got questions for you." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "How come you don't carry," I forget what it is. It's on my phone, but it's a liqueur for drinks that she made. It's real popular. And I said, "Well,
Cherry Hearing.
No, I can show you I'll have to look at my phone at the next commercial break. I'll check my phone." But I said, "Well, why are you saying we don't have it?" "Well, that's what my agency said." I said, "Well, it's one of a couple of possibilities. One is we really don't carry it. It's not listed in the state. Two, we do list it, but it's very slow moving, and the agency is just flat out lying to you because they don't want to order it because it's going to sit in their back room. It's something that you can get, but the wholesale agency doesn't know how to get it for you." And so I looked into it for her. We have it. The agency just didn't want to get it for her.
Wow.
So her options were to change to a different agency that would accommodate her, or stay with that agency who wasn't providing customer service. Now, that agency is my agent. Mm-hmm. I have a contract with them. Mm-hmm. They need to provide good customer service to keep their contract. Mm-hmm. And we had an adult conversation later about that customer service at that location. But that's not an uncommon story.
Okay.
That is not and talking with Chris, she was unaware that those were options for her and others in her same position. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great to know, and it's great that you've developed this relationship with the bartenders to school them on, because everybody thinks that the state is stifling their creativity, but that's just not the case. So, and I assume that if enough people leave the liquor store that isn't providing them good service, then they'll be forced to provide good service. Otherwise, they won't have.
Well, that's right. So there are 481 state liquor agencies. They are contractors. They have personal service contracts, just like when you hire an agent to sell your house or somebody to mow your lawn. If they don't perform what you're paying them to perform, you get rid of them and you get somebody who does the job. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a liquor contract. Mm-hmm. Why does everybody want a liquor contract? Not for the commission, but for the foot traffic it brings in for the higher margin things like beer, wine, soda,
gotcha,
chips, whatnot. So everybody wants one of these. And so there's a line out the door for people who want these liquor contracts. And if the ones who are my current contractors don't provide customer service, they're like dandelion heads. Knock one off, 3 more grow up right in the same place because everybody wants them. And they will be innovative. They will provide customer service. They will do all those sorts of things. But on top of managing the contractors that I had, which has really not been done ever, part of that was when I came in, I noticed that the bars and restaurants who have liquor permits were sort of preordained to 310 of these liquor agencies. In other words, liquor agency A had 35 bars and restaurants. Liquor agency B had 27 bars and restaurants, and so on and so on. So I like to say it was like an artificial North Korea divided up artificial market. Now, what happens when that happens? And the bars and restaurants weren't allowed to change their liquor agency. So what do you think happened? If you're a bar and you have no choice, the customer service just went into the toilet. So what I said to all my contractors and what I said to the bars is, if you aren't getting the service that you want, you can change.
Nice.
So what happened? Now all the agencies are competing to provide that level of customer service, delivery dates, offerings, specials, all those sorts of things. So that was like step 2. Step 3 is something that we're about ready to launch, which is portable app-based orderings for all the bars and restaurants.
Oh, nice.
And Mitchell's and John Lane from Winking Lizard and a bunch of others, Vaso, and I mean, there's a whole list of partners in helping us design this app-based portable ordering process that the bars and restaurants, depending on who's doing the ordering, is it the liquor manager or the beverage manager, whoever it is, will actually have an app that looks a lot like Amazon. You see the full menu of all of our brands, all of the sizes. You see what's available. You put it in your cart. You hit send, and that's your order. It gets cut, and it'll be pulled by the agency, and it's ready to be picked up or delivered. And so if you go to order something and it's not there, it gives you options like, well, people who buy that also buy or also shop or like this.
Sure.
And so that way the agent or the bar or the restaurant who's trying to put together their order, they order it and then they kind of wait until it arrives to see what's not there.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Mm-hmm. And so this really puts visibility on it. It really makes it nimble. Mm-hmm. It makes it like the rest of the shopping experience. Mm-hmm. And it puts it in their hands anywhere they're at. The bar and the restaurant don't need to be at a terminal in their restaurant. They don't have to fax it in. They don't have to email it in. They can, wherever their phone is, if they're on vacation, if they're anywhere, they can put in their order. And so that is going to change everything.
Wow.
For the bars and restaurants. Because now they won't depend on some clerk at a liquor store, giving thumbs up and thumbs down on what they need.
Wow, that's great. It seems to me like finally there's somebody in charge at Liquor Control that actually cares about the industry. And I think that's amazing. And I think it's going to boost sales. I'm sure it already has.
Yeah,
and who likes to drink good stuff as much as we do?
Yeah.
That the thing is, it's not totally altruistic. I'm mercenary, right? It's like I want to get the stuff into people's hands who are going to buy it.
Sure.
I want to make it easy to make purchases. I want to make it easy to shop. I want to make it easy for you to see what's on our shelves.
Yeah.
And then I want to make it fun.
Right.
And that's like, all the events, the festivals, the pop-ups, the raffles, the lotteries, and all those sorts of things. So it is fun because I like to have fun, but it's also mercenary. I'm running a business, and that's an unusual thing for a state agency.
Yeah.
I can think of one other, lottery. Lottery is in business. The Department of Liquor is in business. We're in business to make money, not to sit on our hands and make it more difficult.
So I have an idea for another raffle I think you should do.
Yeah.
I think you should draw names, have a raffle for people to join you on barrel picks.
I almost spit my water into the microphone because we're already doing that.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
It's
know
called the
that.
Golden Barrel Program.
Oh, I saw that in the magazine.
Well, then duh.
Oh, yeah.
You already know. Why are you asking me?
I haven't actually seen the magazine. I saw it online,
Lindsay.
and I saw I don't. Where do you get
Leanne
it?
is not doing her homework for this interview at all. The magazine, it's a quarterly magazine.
Okay.
It's free. And I call it the Highlights magazine for adults.
Yes.
You go in it, you find a hidden golden barrel. It gives you a code. You go online, you sign up, and we've already taken our first person.
Okay.
Not only that, but we're taking agency stores who are in compliance with
so
all
fun.
of our. So we did that with New Riff. Was our
Awesome.
first customer that came with us to help taste and pick barrels.
Wow.
What a great idea, Leanne.
Thank you. I always say, if I have the idea, somebody much smarter than me has already thought of it. So it's nothing new for me. So let's talk about
Check that one off your list. Cross it off.
42 plus. What's
42 plus?
What's that mean? What's 42 plus? Is that how many counties or what?
Think about it.
I have no
42
idea.
plus. 42 plus.
I don't know.
So, in Ohio and in most control states, what do they control? High proof spirits. 42 proof.
Gotcha. Okay.
42 proof.
Okay.
And
very
up.
clever. All right.
So there's another sort of myth, misconception, vestige of lack of information is beer and wine and low proof spirits under 42 are products that are bought and owned by each retailer. So if you're in Target buying beer or wine, if you're at the stop and go gas station buying beer and wine, that's all their inventory. The low proof below 42 is what they own. So, this helps understand, whether it's beer, wine, chips, jerky, soda, milk, cheese, whatever it is. They own that. They make the choices on whether it's something that they're going to sell or not sell, and how do they base that decision? Do they, like, one guy comes in and says, I like liver. Can you carry liver? Well, like, who else wants liver? Well, no one. And so, like, they have to make decisions on the inventory that's going to sell, that's going to make them money, because they're in business to make money. They're not in business to make one guy who wants liver happy. And so with 42 proof, it's the same concept, but it's me.
Okay.
So the products that I'm buying that are 42 and up, 42 plus, are inventory that we own and that we put on the shelves and sell on consignment through these contractors.
Okay.
And they get a commission for selling it. So the products that I choose, the product mix that I choose, are going to be things that are going to sell. And so I rely on the brokers and the makers and the bartenders and the velocity of sales to data to dictate what I'm bringing into the state. And so right now, bourbon, hot. Tequila, hot. Irish, hot. Gin, starting to take off. But vodka is flat. Canadian is flat. Cordials are flat. Rum, flat. And so those are how we make our decisions. And so that product mix matters in terms of sales. And like any other business, you're going to make those choices based on sales velocity, sales data, sales trends. And so 42 plus is because that's what we sell, that's what we control, and that's what the magazine's about. Now, the other hat that I wear is I permit anybody who sells liquor. So every bar, every restaurant, every casino, every hotel, everybody who wants to sell beer, wine, or spirits, including a temporary permit for your
Columbus Cocktail Classic.
The Columbus Cocktail Classic, that's a temporary permit. So all of those permits to sell liquor require a permit, and that's the other side of what I do.
So I think another misconception that I was told when I started the process of planning this convention, because I don't know anything about planning these things, I said, I'm just going to see if I can get a meeting with somebody at Liquor Control, because I don't want to plan this, spend all this money and time, just like your building permit. You don't want to build your house and then have the inspector tear it down. And I was told, they'll never, you'll never be able to reach anyone. So I sent one email to Lindsay and met with Dominic Panzera and Andre Smith.
Andre Smith.
Yeah.
Dominic's our legal counsel, and Andre's the head of enforcement.
I call him the heavy.
And he's big too.
He is big. But they came out, they sat down. Dominic brought this giant law book of regulations, and I was like, I hope he's not going to make me read all that shit. And of course he didn't. He just explained to me, and he answered every question.
And we had lots of questions, but they had
questions.
all the answers we needed.
Yeah, and then he gave me his email address, which I'm sure he's regretting now because I've sent him 100 different questions.
No, they love it. They love that. I mean, I obviously encourage it, that level of customer service. But I mean, think about it in terms of how we do business. We would so much rather have you get it right at the front end because we want you to be successful, right? You're doing, again, it's not totally altruistic. We want you to be successful because what are you doing?
Selling
You're marketing my products, right? And you're buying some too from the state liquor store. And so we want to facilitate that, make it easy for you, make it fun for you, because otherwise it turns into an enforcement issue. So you don't do your homework, you don't meet with us at the front end. We get a tip from somebody who doesn't like your show, who doesn't like that you're setting up this thing, and they always wanted to do one, but they're jealous. So somebody's going to call us and say, well, Leanne is doing this thing and they're doing it wrong and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I get my tips. It's some hater out there who's going to call us and tell us that you're doing it wrong. And then it's our duty to go check it out.
And then Andre comes.
And then it becomes a problem. And it's usually right before the event.
Yeah. And
people have their tickets and they're, you've paid your vendors, you've paid everything, it's all set up. And then I'm like, I'm trying to help you get into compliance, 5 hours before the event.
Wow.
Yeah. So we love when people come to us early for those consults. We love it.
Makes sense. So the OHLQ website where you can figure out if you need a bottle of something, you go on there and you can find your bottle. How is that updated real time, or how does that work?
So it is, to answer your question, and then I'll talk about it a little more. The bottles that are in an agency store are scanned by the UPC code, just like on every bottle that you have here. Every product has a UPC code. So when those cases and bottles are delivered to the agency store, the agency scans them in with a scan gun. Boop, 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 boop. And so when that happens, all that data from that delivery at, what is it, Lindsay, 12 o'clock in the morning? 3 o'clock in the morning, upload into our system. And all that data about all those brands and all those products are now visible on OHLQ website.
Oh, wow.
So
that's good to
if
know.
the delivery is today at, let's see, what time do we have here? It's like 6:45. So 7 p.m., there's a delivery. At 3 o'clock in the morning, we now know what's in that store, and it's on OHLQ. Now, let's say there's a case of Blanton's that was delivered at 7 p.m. So from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, all the way to 3, it's sitting on that shelf. And while that store is open, people are buying, right? That's if the agency has put it out. Mm-hmm. And that's their choice. I mean, that's contingent on, if they got people to stock and face and do everything else the store does with their products. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, that data of what was delivered minus what was sold is going to be on OHLQ. So now we know at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you open the app and look at it, when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Leanne, to see what,
because you can't sleep,
to see where that Blanton's is, you're going to see all the agencies buy little bottles on the website. And if it's full, it means they've got ample supply. If it's half full, it means they're getting low. And if it's empty, there's none there. And so you get in your car and you speed to that store because you think that there's going to be Blanton's there. Now remember, if you get there, if the store opens at 9 and you get there at noon, 200 of your closest friends have beat you there for those remaining bottles. And so
Gotcha.
the OHLQ website is the best thing and the worst thing we've ever done. It's the best thing in terms of every other product than the high demand, quick velocity bourbon. So if you're relying on OHLQ for Blanton's or I'm thinking of another one here that flies off, Buffalo Trace, something like that, or McKenna. By the time you get there, it's probably going to be gone after you've seen it on OHLQ. But for every other category, if you're looking for something for a party, the bartenders are looking for something. Or if anybody's looking for anything that's not bourbon, it's a great resource. But for bourbon, people get frustrated because they don't realize that the demand, it's not going to sit there on the shelf waiting for you to come pick it up.
Right.
Because everybody's looking for those products. So we, like I said, we get a lot of people who call us to say, I went on OHLQ and I saw that bottle of, old Weller Antique and it's not there. Well, there's only two possibilities. It was sold and it's gone by the time you got there, or the store is holding it in the back. And that used to be a thing before JVC, before me. It used to be a thing that the agencies would hold special things for their friends, or there were these lists. And, don't get me started on lists. Like, how do you get on the list? How do you get off the list? I used to be a prosecutor. I'm cynical, so I can think of all kinds of cynical reasons why you'd be on a list, like I buy a lot of your wine, or I buy a lot of your beer, or I give you cash payments, or whatever it is, none of it's good. And so the agencies now have 1 million secret shoppers who call me and call our liquor enterprise service center to complain if that stuff isn't there. Gives us great visibility to send a compliance officer to go in the back room and to see if it's there or not. And guess what?
If it's there, what happens?
They're in big trouble. It's like liquor. That's like the liquor 10 commandments. If you are holding, hiding, providing special lists, that's like probably, besides assaulting a customer, it's probably like number 2 on the commandments. No special lists, because we want everybody to have a fair chance to get it.
Yeah, makes sense. That's fair. Okay, so normally we take a break at this point and make a cocktail, but we're not going to do that because you're not really a bartender. We're going to pour a little bit of whiskey and taste it. So we'll be right back. We are back with, what is this? This is a gift from Andemic.
A sampler.
A sampler of Old Sappho,
which we're going to list.
And tell us about it. What's special about this?
So you
and
mentioned,
cheers.
And cheers. Yes.
Cheers.
So the Russells discovered this recipe, Old Sappho, and there's a maker, a distiller
really
who made this stuff, but they rediscovered it and made this again, and it's going to be listed in the state. Of course, it's highly allocated, very, very few cases, but we're going to get our fair share because we're great partners with Campari and Wild Turkey and Jimmy and Eddie Russell. So we're thrilled about getting the opportunity. This is just a great product. It's
good because it's delicious.
Yeah, 107 proof. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Thanks, Ann.
Really nice. Yeah. So
and
tell me about
and rocks.
Ann Dimick is the best. I saw that she was in your magazine. A beautiful
was.
picture of her. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Women of the liquor world, women leaders.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like you were missing somebody though.
Who, Leanne?
The only bourbon trivia board game in the world was created by me.
Had I got first place in I'm Not a Bartender, maybe it would be a different scenario.
I was not a judge. Blair was though.
Hey, now, come on. Don't put that on me.
So tell me about Stateways. You, what is Stateways?
Stateways is the trade magazine for control states. It's sort of like the Academy Awards, but it's for control states. And every year, we used to be in Dumpster Fire magazine before I started.
Is that a real thing?
That was 2 years ago. No, I just made that up.
I was going to say.
Dumpster Fire magazine, Leanne.
That would be terrible.
So this is a trade magazine. There's a number of categories. There's like 13 categories. And they pick control states that particularly excel in these categories. And then they pick one best of the best control state in Ohio, because of all the cool things we're doing, got best of the best. And so
That's awesome.
We're going to be a cover story, 10 pages in the trade magazine. And so, really thrilled about it.
So it's not just me that's noticing all the great things you're doing. It's like a lot of people.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, that's good. That's exciting. So we do have some other samples that were given to us. This one is called Cask and Crew. And I think they're trying to get listed in the state, but they did.
Where are they from?
New York, upstate New York, Fairport, actually.
My hometown.
Blair's hometown. Oddly, it's just a little town, but this rye is really good. If you want to,
and they're using you. They're using you to get to me to list their products, which is smart on their part.
Well, actually. They have the only product that they have that's listed in the state is called Pink. Have you seen that low proof?
Ledestri pink lemonade.
Yeah, it tastes like pink lemonade, low proof stuff. And they are going to be vendors at our cocktail convention. And so I met with them and they just gave me samples of everything. So which I think is fun.
And what do you think?
I think it's fun. I like the rye. Ginger spice whiskey, I think is interesting.
You see what my shirt says.
Yes.
Right? Whiskey flavored whiskey.
Now is ginger spice whiskey flavored whiskey?
Well, don't knock it till you try it. That's what I say. And there's an orange roasted whiskey, which kind of is like it reminds me of Slow and Low, sort of. So
the thing about these makers, whether it's somebody from New York or somebody from Ohio, is the question isn't can you make it, which is also a very interesting process because distilling is a craft. The question is can you sell it, right? And so this company, Cask and Crew, the question will be if you want me to list it in the state of Ohio, you got to prove to me that it's going to sell.
How does one do that?
You have data from somewhere else where it's selling. You have bars and restaurants who want it.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would do a wholesale only purchase. So you get 10 restaurants and bars or 20 restaurants and bars or even one restaurant who says, I really want Cask and Crew. I will buy it for that bar and restaurant. And if that bar and restaurant is selling it, that's usually a good indication. I mean, it's a safe bet for me.
Okay.
Because that bar and restaurant has said, I will buy Cask and Crew from you, Jim. And so it's no risk to me. But if I just say, oh, I like your label.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy 100 cases of it. Now I own it.
Yeah.
And Cask and Crew goes off high-fiving themselves because, we just sold 100 cases to the state. Well, you haven't sold a damn thing. You haven't sold a bottle. So once people start walking up to the shelves and buying it, now you're talking my language. So I am not just going to list some untested product without it being either wildly successful in another state, the bartenders and the restaurants are buying it. There has to be some indication for me to be taking the risk on it. Because again, I'm investing in a product not because I want to stack it on the floor. It needs to sell.
And as taxpayers, we appreciate that. So, listeners, if you ever have a question for a guest like Jim or any of our bartenders or any of our guests, you can email us or message us on Facebook or where else? How else can they reach
Smoke
us?
signal.
You can smoke signal.
There's a glass window behind her right here. You probably could draw on a window.
But you can ask us questions, and I do happen to have a couple of questions for you tonight from Facebook. The first one is from...
Well, the show's over, Lindsay. Let's go.
From Brian Tolley. He says, what can we do to get the state to release their stranglehold on rum varieties in the state so I can stop going to Newport and Chicago to get what I can't get here? I was in Benny's over in Chicago a couple months ago and dropped $700. I do this 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay, so this sort of is the amalgamation of things we've talked about up until that question. So Benny's is a retailer in Chicago, just like Target, just like any other grocery store, like any other retailer in the state of Illinois, which is an open state. Meaning each retailer buys his beer, his wine, his Cheetos, and his high-proof liquor. So Benny's is going to buy what he can sell. And if it's selling, he's going to mark it up. Right? So Blanton's here is $56. Blanton's in Illinois is going to be $100. Right? So let's start there. So Benny's can buy whatever Benny's wants to because he's going to take the chance that it sits around. And if it sits around, he's going to mark it to $5. And it's going to be like $5 chuck. But it's going to be vodka, gin, Canadian, or whatever it is. So rum. Rum, we have, take a guess how many different kinds of rum we have listed in the state of Ohio.
12.
174
wow.
types of rum that are listed in the state of Ohio. Now, I can get away with having that many kinds because I'm not Benny's. We're the state of Ohio. We make $1.3 billion. So I can take more chances with more offerings. But, for example, people go to the Caribbean and they taste some kind of rum. And they come back and they're like, the state has a stranglehold. Otherwise, they would have whatever rum that I tasted in the Caribbean. Now, like we were talking about with this New York bourbon maker, if I can sell that rum, I'm going to have it listed. If one guy who went to Benny's wants the rum, I could care less.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want is to know what it is. Can I sell it? Is there demand for it? And so if the restaurants and bars want it, I'm going to get it for them. That's easy.
That makes sense.
Because it's an automatic buy. And we do that all the time. If Miranova, if Chris DeLavi wants a product, she talks to Campari and says, hey, I need a case of whatever. It's an automatic buy for me. It's not risky. Now, when you start talking about putting it on the retail shelves, now I have to hope that,
Brian.
thousands of Brian's friends are going to buy this, because otherwise I'm taking a chance in buying rum that only Brian knows about. And that's not how you run a business.
So Ohio Rum Society, if you're listening, and I know you are, there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah, so if I'm a rum fan, what I do is, if Brian is a bartender or Brian is part of a restaurant, you contact your broker. Your broker contacts me, and we buy however many cases that bar or restaurant wants.
He's just an individual. He's a member of the Ohio Rum Society.
The Ohio Rum Society If you are interested in different kind of rums, again, though, the manufacturer has to come to me. I can't divine that from thin air that Brian is out there and wants some kind of rum. Either the society contacts a broker or a manufacturer, and they approach me and they say, hey, the Rum Society is kind of an influencer here, and they're saying this rum is a dead-on hit. It's finished in bourbon casks, or it's finished however it's finished. It's awesome, and here's the data. We sell it in Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, California, New York, Jim, and you're missing out on the boat. What do you think I'm going to do?
Yeah, you're going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
So I think you've already answered this question, but I'm going to read it anyway because he sent it in. Adam Knight, he said, I don't understand why there isn't a better way for the state to manage low SKUs. We've seen a lot of good liquor discontinued in Ohio or never carried here that we just end up having to buy from other states. Is it that costly to manage the low volume items that it's instead better to lose sale to, he says, free states? I think he means open states. And if so, what are the free states or open states doing to manage to sell these items profitably that Ohio isn't? So,
Okay, again, myth.
Yeah.
Myth. Somebody who's uninformed. There has to be demand for a product. It's supply and demand. It's because the state owns it doesn't suddenly turn it into, entitlement. It's a business. So things that don't have demand aren't purchased anymore. I mean, it's just supply and demand. It's the elasticity of supply and demand dictate based on sales. So if those products are selling off the shelves, then we buy more. If it's not selling, it's sitting on the shelves. And so I'm puzzled that the notions of supply and demand aren't that obvious just because the state is in the business of buying and selling liquor. Now, if, for example, somebody was in love with salmon-flavored vodka, I will apologize to you now. Fruity Pebble-flavored vodka.
Oh.
What was the other one? Cilantro-flavored vodka. Those sorts of things, there are people out there who like those products. And I'm sure there were people who liked Pacers and Yugos and all of those sorts of lemon vehicles. But we're in a business to sell products, not make a niche group happy. And so for those kind of products, the formula is pretty straightforward. These products have to sell a certain number of bottles in the points of distribution that they choose. And I don't choose them. Here's another misconception. If Leanne's gin company comes to me and says, hey, Jim, Leanne's gin is really popular in Virginia, and they're selling like crazy. And I'm going to be like, really? Show me the data. And I'm like, wow, that's really, I'll take a chance on you. I buy 1,000 cases. And I'm going to say, now, where do you want to put them? And you're going to say, in every agency. Are you sure you want them in all 481 agencies? Because you've got to sell at least one bottle a month on average in your points of distribution. So if you pick one agency, you got to sell one bottle. If you sell 481, if you want to put it in 481 agencies, you've got to sell 481 bottles a month. Right?
Interesting.
So people will come in with their Leanne's gin and be like, if I bring it, they will come, like the Field of Dreams. That's not how it works. You have got to sell your products on the shelf on the average of one bottle per month for the number of the average number of points of distribution that you choose. So if you choose 12, it's 12 bottles a month. 20 bottles a month. So if you're selling just a couple out of this agency and none in the other agencies over a 12-month period of time, guess what?
You get delisted.
You get delisted.
Gotcha.
So it's not a high bar to make, but I have to have a bar.
Sure.
because I'm not going to buy a bunch of stuff that sits on the shelves and doesn't move, because that space, that linear space on the shelf is like valuable real estate. If Leanne's bottle of gin is taking up space, it's taking the spot of a bottle of gin that will sell, because I only have so much linear space in each liquor store.
Gotcha. All right. So one last question. Why do places like Middle West Spirits, why do they have to hire distributors out? If they want to sell their liquor outside of Ohio, why do they have to hire a distributor outside of Ohio?
What happens outside of Ohio is not my business.
Okay.
That's the other state's rules.
Okay.
And in the state of Ohio, they don't have to have a broker.
Gotcha.
I buy directly from manufacturers all the time.
So Middle West Spirits, they can't sell directly to Tennessee. They have to hire a distributor, like their distributors.
That's probably because of marketing.
Okay.
I mean, they can't be everywhere all the time, so you hire a broker
Sure.
to do the legwork. I mean, that's a business decision. That's not a state requirement.
Gotcha.
Or probably not even another state's requirement. It's not the same. It might be you're conflating the idea with beer and wine, which Ohio law requires there to be distribution for beer and wine. It's not the same for high proof.
Gotcha.
I mean, you pick a broker because you're basically picking somebody to do the legwork on promoting your product. And Middle West is in Ohio, and they want to have a presence in a different state. They're hiring a national broker who has a presence in another state and is plugged into all the distribution chains.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's always enlightening to talk to you.
It's like myth busting hour.
Yeah,
We
it's
learn so much
fun.
every time.
Yeah, we learn something there every time.
Let me end with one thing here. And I don't even know if I pointed this out on Dino's show, but for all the folks out there who think, Chicago is the panacea, Indiana is a panacea, California, New York, all these open, quote unquote, open states. Think about it this way. The state of Washington got overwhelmed by the same sort of belief that the state, because that was a control state, if we go to an open state, the world is going to change, just like everybody believes, stranglehold and low supply and better management. That's all fiction. The state of Washington went to an open state, and the product offerings plummeted. The number of offerings plummeted, and the price on the things they carried went up. Now, why? Because once you put, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just a different model, but the state of Washington is a good testament and evidence that when you put the actual laws of supply and demand, which operate in every other retail operation, like beer, like wine, like chips, like milk, like soda, and those vendors are now making choices based on their pocketbook, right? So, for example, you have Leanne's beverage store. What products are you going to get your wallet out and buy?
What I know is going to sell.
Right. Are you going to have a lineup of 1,000 different kind of bourbons?
Maybe, because I do love bourbon.
Sure, but you have to pay for that now.
True. Well, I
Okay.
won't have any cilantro vodka, I can tell you
Right.
that.
So you have to have the capital to carry a lineup. And the lineup that you do carry is your inventory that ties up your capital. And so you want people to come in and buy because you got to pay the rent, you got to pay your employees, you got to pay for your IT, your electric, your light, your water, and you've got to have more revenue. You have to have cash flow. This is just like any other bar and restaurant. You got to manage your cash flow so that you can buy other offerings to keep people coming back. And so once you start seeing where the velocity is on your sales, what are you going to buy the next month? More of that.
Yeah.
What are you going to get off? What are you going to jettison from your menu? The stuff that is not selling that you have money invested in.
Yeah.
And the longer it sits there, the more likely you are going to mark it down. Now, the stuff that is selling, let's switch topics. So on the product offerings, it's going to dwindle till you get that right product mix that gives you that cash flow in terms of velocity. Now, I don't have to worry about that because the laws of supply and demand for the state who has spending power, I can take more risk. I can buy more products in a wider variety because I can take the chance that it's going to sit on the shelves longer because I'm not Leanne's beverage store. You don't have the buying power that I do. So I can have a lot more offerings than you can. I can list things more quickly than you can. But my only deal with those manufacturers are that you're going to sell it. And if it's not sold, I'm going to get rid of it and get something else. Now for you, it's gone. And now your product mix is only the things that you can sell. Mm-hmm. Now, you hit on gold. You found some whiskey, some gin, some vodka that sells. And there's a high demand for it. What are you going to do on the price?
You're going
to raise that price to the point where people are still buying it. Whoop, okay, now it's slowing down. So that price is going to be high. So when you see that bottle of Blanton's at Binny's in Washington, D.C., in New York, California, it's going to be double, triple the price that it is here in Ohio. So Washington, that played out exactly as I described it. The state of Washington went to a private system. The offerings went down, price went up. They're wishing they could go back in time.
We were in Alabama, which is an open state.
No,
and
Alabama's control state.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Maybe it was Louisiana. It was an open state, and larceny was $75.
Mm-hmm. Might have been Mississippi.
Yeah, maybe.
Mississippi, and it's like $25
here.
$30 here.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And it's widely available.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jim. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
We approve.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on our podcast, and thanks for being on our amateur competition too. That was super fun. So
it was for us.
Darn Jameson guy. I did beat the priest.
Yeah, you beat the priest.
And I did offer to knock it sideways with God. I did offer to give him second place.
That was generous.
I know, that's what I thought.
That was nice. Jim Canepa, Superintendent of Liquor Control for the state of Ohio. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to everything.